Hello, Fastest Furs. Rad here, and I am happy to present Winterbit, who will be running Frogger's Adventures Temple of the Frog. Welcome, Winterbit. Thank you for your time.
Hi, Red. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, likewise. So, I think we're all dying to know, if we don't know already, why Frogger? Please fill me in.
Oh my goodness. Um, the Game Boy Advance was my first console when I was age either 6 or 7. It's been a long time. Frogger's Adventures Temple of the Frog was actually my first video game that I ever played. I rediscovered the Game Boy Advance when in like 2014, I want to say, and that was the first game I played when I came back to it. It's also the first speed run I ever did and the first thing I ever streamed, so it's just been a part of my life.
So take me back. Like you said, it was your first speed run. How did you get into speedrunning? Like, what made you think you should run Frogger, and then kind of where has it gone from there?
I went to, I think it was Evo 2016, I want to say. This was not too long after I picked myself up a Game Boy Advance SP, and I just happened to take it on my trip to Evo. Thank goodness I did, because when I got there, there was no Wi-Fi. So I didn't have any form of entertainment except my handheld game console and the games I brought with it, among which was, of course, Temple of the Frog. So just for fun, I decided to see how fast I could play through it. I got a 23-minute time, and then I thought, wait a second. I watched this video a while back of TaskBot, and I was like, hang on a second, this is actually a thing, isn't it? So I went on speedrun.com and looked it up. The fastest time at that time that was posted was 26 minutes. And so that was the moment that I decided I needed to start streaming, I needed to start recording and prove that I had the world record in this childhood video game of mine.
Awesome. So yeah, I mean, your speedrun.com profile shows a lot of games, kind of all in the same like classic retro handheld genre. Would you say that's like a good description of the kind of games you like to speedrun?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I've actually gone to game shops, thrift stores. I've scoured eBay, just looking for all sorts of weird, old, obscure, like retro titles. That's definitely my favorite category of game. And I have actually gone out of my way to pioneer a lot of Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, original Game Boy games. There were just too many games. There was no way I was gonna be able to speed run everything I wanted to and play everything casually that I wanted to, so I kinda decided to take some time off and focus on the casual stuff.
Nice. Yeah, I noticed that when I looked at your like history, that there was just like so many marathon appearances and so many PBs, and then there was just kind of a drop off. And but here you are bringing Frogger's Adventures back to Fastest Furs. Like, what made you want to get back into it? Is this kind of a new period?
Well, I don't wanna say I ran out of games to play because that's certainly not the case. It's more of just I'm trying to reprioritize myself. I started the channel on Temple of the Frog, and yeah, I haven't been playing it enough, honestly, and I miss it, and I wanna get back into it. I'm giving myself an excuse to play it again, and from here, I probably want to move on to my, other Frogger games as well. There's even Frogger's Adventures 2: The Lost Wand for the Game Boy Advance that I, started running a few years ago, and that's actually how I met one of the moderators for Fastest Furs, Mr. Shasta, because he just posted a time in the Lost Wand a couple weeks before I started running it.
We do have an incentive for Frogger to change the category from any percent to 100%. Sell me on 100%. What does a 100% run for Frogger's Adventures look like?
Yeah, well, um, as far as the Frogger series goes, like 100% versus any percent, the definition can really vary. But in this particular game, it means collect every extra life and every coin. Now, normally you'd only have to collect 125 coins across the course of the game in order to enter the last two levels. In this case, you'd actually be collecting 236 coins. I almost said 235 coins there because we were testing this game after I ran 100%, and we only found out at the very end, right after we finished the task, that there was one more coin. We ended up missing that coin, and because none of the other runs that had ever been done for 100% got that coin, every 100% run before this one that we're going to see if you get the incentives in has been completely invalidated. I haven't, nor has anyone else, run the category since that invalidation occurred. So if we can meet the 100% incentive, we will see a free world record live on stream.
And a brand new category, never before seen.
Indeed.
Well, before we let you go, I wanted to ask about something you mentioned while we were kind of setting up for this. That you have some crossover, and maybe pun intended, we'll see, with Redemption Arcade skill. How does that tie into this run and your speed run?
Yeah, I am a huge, like a big time Redemption Arcade player. I love the places. I actually have taken my speedrunning skills and applied it to the Redemption Arcade. So any like skill-based games, I'm very adept at, I shall say, particularly with Crossy Road. Like you set me in front of a Crossy Road machine, I can get the jackpot pretty much every time. And so that's always a lot of fun to be able to go to one of those arcades and be like, "Hmm, I want that 10,000 ticket prize. I'm just gonna go over to Crossy Road and grab it real quick."
Awesome. Well, I'm pretty hyped for a Frogger run, which I don't think I expected myself to say going into this marathon, but your passion for it is obvious. You've been honing this run for years, and I'm excited to see you perform it. Chat, please get those donations in so we can unlock 100%. And thank you so much for helping us raise money for Trans Lifeline, and good luck on your run.
Thank you so much, Red.
Welcome, Fastest Furs Fall Fest. I'm Radicoon, but please call me Rad, and I will be one of the interviewers that you'll be seeing throughout the marathon this weekend. We are interviewing a variety of speedrunners that will be bringing runs to you, and today I'm going to start with the one, the only Shovel Claws, who will be running not only Spark the Electric Jester 3, but also Little Gator Game. Welcome in, Shovel Claws.
Hi, hello, yes. I'm very excited. Two games. Wow, wild.
Yeah,
Crazy.
2 games is rare. It's pretty cool. So I took a look at your speedrun history, and usually it's pretty easy to see like the progression of a genre you're interested in or kind of a theme, and there is one there. It's a little Sonic, a little indie, right? As the name suggests. So I was expecting to see like a huge history, like years and years of speedrunning, but like it's shorter than I thought. So I'm interested to hear from you. How did you take like an early interest in speedrunning to today?
YouTube recommended me. Got games done quick one day. Oops. That's the rabbit hole began and ended. And yeah, so I got into GDQs or into like watching GDQ for a few years. And then I was like, you know what? Let's see what's on speedrun.com. And I looked on speedrun.com and did like flash game speed runs that were like 3 minutes long. And then a few years later, after giving it up for a few years, I was like, we're gonna come back because I really like Sonic Adventure, and Knuckles' story in that game was like, ooh, okay, I could see this being a really cool speed run. Let me see how this looks. And then, oops, that was the like the first domino, and then the all the way over to where we are now.
It does seem like you popped off quite a bit for Spark. Can you tell me why? What it is about Spark 3 that you just cannot get enough of?
Spark the Electric Jester 3, which is one of the games I'm going to be running in this event, is the best platformer ever made, at least in my opinion. It is my favorite game of all time. It is my favorite speed run of all time. It's just so responsive and technical. There's a lot of depth to it, where on the surface you're looking at it, it's like, okay, you kind of build momentum really fast, you keep that momentum going. But as you start running it, and I've been running it for like since its release, so like a year now, um, as you get deeper and deeper into it, it's like, wow, okay, this game has so much technical stuff where it's like one tiny variable gets changed just a little bit, and suddenly you're on a completely different trajectory, or you have to adjust to make yourself in the correct line for going fast. one thing that Spark I think does better than Sonic is momentum, and that is what initially drew me there. Is because I like games that go fast, both literally and kind of figuratively. I love games like Spark where it's like go go go, boom boom boom.
Cool. I cannot wait to see it. I peeked at it a little bit, and it definitely does remind me of Adventure. But yeah, but let's slow it down a little bit and talk about the second game you'll be running today, Little Gator Game. Compare the experience of running a sort of I guess Zelda-like is a fair comparison, maybe, to the nonstop speed of Spark.
Gator is an interesting game. It's is not quite as fast. It's a lot shorter. The open world zone type area that you're in as well leads to a lot of interesting route ideas. You can see that through the three different categories that the game generally has, and stuff like that, where it's like it's not quite as fast, but it is still like pretty breakneck speed, and that's kind of what I like about it. It's almost like getting speed in Gator is a kind of snowball effect where the longer you roll the snowball, the more speed you end up getting and the faster you'll end up going. But every now and then that snowball has to hit a rock, and one of those rocks are like, talking to friends, completing their quests, where you have to then stop for each friend, and that leads to a lot of interesting routing where you want to make the friends as efficient as possible. That way you can keep the snowball going for as long as possible without stopping it too hard. I think it brings something to the table that a lot of other kind of platformer games don't really do, in the sense with like shield surfing and the bubblegum jumps and stuff.
Cool. So you mentioned friends. This game does have an incentive to upgrade the category from any percent to all friends. Sell me on that. Why do we want to donate for the all friends category?
Why would you not want to donate for making people happy and being friends with everyone? Come on. Like, duh. In reality, actually, All Friends has a very interesting route. It is drastically different from any percent, and it's much more about optimizing the fine movement, optimizing the actual quest completions. It also completely changes the route. You'll see multiple places multiple times, and sometimes we start a friend's quest early and then come back to them later. It's a really dynamic run. There's a lot of really dope stuff in All Friends, so you should definitely donate and so we can see it. It's really sick.
All right, I'll echo that, chat. Let's get the donations in to make sure this is upgraded. Otherwise, it would be pretty funny to watch you run any percent unprepared.
Oh,
No,
Jesus! Don't make me nightmare.
I will not vote for less donations. I will not. At SGDQ this year, we had a short conversation that I absolutely do not remember in the elevator. And when you stepped off the elevator, you said, "Goodbye, person I'll never talk to again." So thank you for joining me on this interview.
I'm so owned right now.
So owned. Thank you so much for helping raise money for Trans Lifeline. Chat, 2 runs today. Spark the Electric Jester 3 and Little Gator Game. Please catch both. I know I will. And yeah, thanks for joining me today.
Of course. Thank you for having me. This was great. I always like talking about things I like, which speedrunning happens to be one of them.
Hello again, Fastest Furs. Rad here. And today, I'm a little scared to interview Brosentia. Brosentia, see? You don't do that. I'm keeping this in. Brosentia has a long and storied history of amazing content, speedruns, and showcases. And at this event, that will be no exception. Brosentia, welcome. Please, why are you here? You're not speedrunning or running anything.
Hey there. Sometimes I ask myself the same question. Hello. Yes, I'm Brosentia. I am hosting. Perhaps that would be the best way to say it. I'm hosting the Kusarigane Gauntlet that we have going on at Fastest Furs. In general, throughout my speedrunning career, I'm sort of at the point where I end up actually just instigating chaos and trying to make people either suffer or have fun. I don't know. It depends on the day. And for Fastest Furs, I was like, hey, what would it be like if we just got 2 members of staff and I gave them a whole bunch of challenges and saw how they did? I'm hosting an hour-long race to see how well staff can do at various challenges. and then I'm going to declare a winner, and we'll move on from there. Yeah, that's essentially what I'm doing here.
Well, speaking as a volunteer who is not on staff, I think that's a great idea. So thank you for submitting that. You
Yeah.
mentioned it's a Cuso Grande Gauntlet. Talk to me a little bit more about that name. Where does that come from? What does that mean?
For sure. Kusagrande is a portmanteau of two words, kusoge, which essentially is a bad game in Japanese. And then grande means big. So essentially the name just means big bad game. Kusagrande is a tournament that I started years and years ago. And essentially, I just wanted to have people play bad games while I watched, commentated, and laughed at them. And what I decided to do for Fastest Furs was just submit a little bit of a showcase in order to share the bad game love with y'all.
That sounds. I cannot wait to see this. So
Oh, yeah.
So specifically, you have a staff bid war incentive, which I assume means we're going to be donating for which staff we want to have play this gauntlet. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, that's correct. I'm making sure that all of the staff that are in the bid war have the games prepared. They have everything prepared so that they will be ready to go right after the bid war ends. And after that, they get to suffer at my hands.
So let me be very clear, Chad. That means you have the complete control over who ends up in this gauntlet, and I expect to see donations supporting your favorite staff member. Yeah, let's go with that. Favorite.
Or least favorite, whatever.
Yeah.
Who do you want? Who would you take a newspaper and bop?
Yeah, exactly. That's the litmus test I use for donations. Okay, so you have a speedrun history. It like before kind of the Cuso Grande era, you used to speedrun like classic, I'd say bad games maybe? Is that accurate?
I mean, technically, I started with a good game. The very first marathon, I was living at my sister's house, right? And she's like, "Hey, we're hosting a marathon here, blah, 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 blah." And I was like, okay, cool. It happened to be the first SGDQ. And about a month before, she invited me to go and do a speed run for it. And I was like, sure, I'll do that. First game that I decided to do was Mirror's Edge, and I had a month to learn it. And let me tell you, that game, you should not learn that in a month, okay? Shortly after that, I saw that there was a bad video game exchange happening on the old speedrunning website, Speed Demos Archive, and I decided to participate. Ever since that time, I've been really enjoying bad video games because a lot of them just have something that you never really expected.
So I guess speaking of bad, quote unquote, bad games, what do you look for in a bad game?
So the number one criteria is that it's not boring. There are a lot of very mediocre games. There are a lot of games that you would say are bad, but nobody wants to play because they're a huge slog. So for me, when it comes to finding a bad game that I want to speedrun, I look for something that makes me think, that's an interesting idea. It flopped in a big way, but it's something that I'd like to play with a little bit more just to see what we can get out of it.
Yeah, it's like a playground. You're kind of bringing your own fun to a half-finished experience. Yeah, I can dig that.
Yeah.
So I see, speaking of dig, I see foxes in the background. Tell me how you fit into this little community of ours.
A few years ago, when Fastest Furs started doing their marathons, I really wanted to support it, and I thought that it was a good chance to have both the silly, weird aspects of the fandom come together with speedrunning, and I thought it would be a perfect mix for me. That's why I largely became involved in submitting speedruns to Fastest Furs, and it's been a blast. I'm very glad that I'm able to be a little bit more active. I'll probably be at FWA again this next time and doing something with the marathon. At least I hope. I loved the last time I was at FWA, and I hope that I can be there again.
Well, I know we would love to have you at FWA, but this weekend we have you for the Cuso Grande Gauntlet. Chat, please get your donations in. pick your favorite staff member to tackle the gauntlet with your donations, all going to support Trans Lifeline. Rosentia, thank you so much for the interview. I could barely keep it together, which I know is just a little taste of what's in store for us in the Kusa Grande Gauntlet. So I can't wait to see it.
Same. It's going to be a lot of chaos in some of these games. You will have no idea they're coming.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for sitting for the interview, and good luck.
Thanks.